Yo, what's going on? So today I'm going to be talking about that new Vince Staples album, dropped a couple days ago, and this album is his sixth, I believe, sixth studio album. So this was definitely one that I was highly anticipating for a while. I knew he was working on something, but I didn't know when it was going to drop. So he briefly announced it not too long ago, and it was a bit of a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect that we'd be getting something so soon from him, but totally fine by me. I'm not complaining. In short, this album is brief. I wasn't expecting something super long, but it definitely was shorter than I expected. But one thing this album has going for it, there's no filler whatsoever. I mean, he gets straight into it, right to the point, and I like that a lot. So there's a total of technically eight, I mean 10 tracks, but two of them are interludes, so eight of them are like, full fledged songs. So jumping right into it, every single song for me on this album was a highlight. To be honest, as I said, no filler really. So this might be a bit of a lengthy review from me, just because I'm a fan of Vince Staples, honestly. So I was really looking forward to this. So getting into it, track number one, "Are You With That?" I think this song sets the tone for the album very well. It's like a serene kind of tone, all sorts of wavy, sweeping synth chords playing in the intro, and the drum samples in the programming is just delicious. Is the best word that I have for it. I mean, it's just smooth sounds overall, and there's a lot more. I wouldn't say Vince Staples is really like a singer, but his vocals have always included, his rapping has always included some sort of like sung, in like delivery. So I noticed for sure, right off the bat on this album, his vocals have improved a lot, and I was really happy to hear that. That he's become, I'm guessing, he's become more comfortable with his vocal delivery and what he does with his voice. So I guess the best way to describe the album as a whole, but this song specifically, it's got like a smooth R&B feel, which is really refreshing coming from Vince Staples. I mean, his sound has never really been something that I would consider R&B by any conventional means. But track one, pretty solid. Moving on to the second one, "Law of Averages." This was a single that he dropped pretty recently as well. Honestly, Vince Staples just sounds super comfortable on the mic. I mean, his delivery is just effortless, and I think the production on this one really adds to the tone of the song. There's a lot of soulful samples, pitched up vocals in the background. It's kind of like an earworm a bit. It kept me engaged as I was listening to the song. And it's a really laid back tune. I can definitely imagine myself kind of blasting this one if I'm like driving and it's like 2 in the morning or something, empty roads, just really laid back. I really like that. Next song, "Sundown Town." There's a lot more of those pitched up vocal samples. A bit of a slower tempo. I think this song was one where Vince kind of flexes his lyricism, and it's a bit of a melancholic song. It's not necessarily sad, just a lot of thoughtful bars, and Vince just describes a lot of his experiences growing up. So that was a very introspective song that I enjoyed it. Moving on to track number four, entitled "The Shining." This song has like a really nice, sparkly twinkling kind of sample. I thought it was lovely. It keeps the song moving for sure. Um, and on this song, I can tell that Vince has grown a lot, personally, as just as a guy, as a man. And I kind of got the sense that he's unfazed. He's just kind of pushing forward, despite the adversities that he's had to face, despite the struggles, whatever he's been through. I don't know. And I read that resonated with me. I really like that, and kind of hit home for me. I just enjoyed, and I enjoyed the song, and I felt like I identified with it. And moving on to track number five, "Taking Trips." The beat on this one was knocking. I mean, it was just heavy, like the good type of heavy. Um, Interesting sample choice. It sounded so familiar to me, and I just, for the life of me, don't know if it's from something that I actually know. But the sample or whatever it was, like the synth or whatever that was playing in the background, honestly, it sounded like the melody and everything. It sounded like something from a video game from the 64-bit era. Uh, I'm a sucker for stuff that sounds like that, so I was with it. It was cool. Um, I remember for some reason I wrote this down on my notes. One of the ad libs on the song, you hear Vince say "rest in piss," and I feel like that just encapsulates the energy of this whole song. Really nice one. I really like this one. Um, and I think there was a bit of a sample towards the end of the song that I thought was kind of cool. They added kind of like a cinematic feel to the album, and there's more of it later on. And at this point in the album, it just kind of sounded like it must have been like some kind of interview or a documentary with somebody describing their experiences in being in a gang. So I thought it was pretty cool, adding more to the themes that Vince tends to rap about in his music. Um, so track number 6, "The Apple in the Tree." This one is one of those interlude tracks that I mentioned. It, from what I remember, it sounded like a phone conversation where someone was describing, or rather confessing to killing someone. So uh, it was a pretty cool sample to listen to. I mean, a pretty cool way of sampling something like that and using it as an interlude rather than sticking it in a song. I appreciate that. And then as soon as that's over, track number 7 picks up. This one's entitled "Take Me Home." There's an artist on this song. Her name's Fouché. Never heard of her before, but hearing her singing on this song had me sold. I mean, she was killing it. You know, she was doing her thing. I've never, like I said, I've never heard of them or any of their music rather. But they just killed the chorus, and it was just so smooth. And Vince's delivery on this song made me feel like the guy was heartbroken, like he was struggling with something, just sad. And it sounded a bit more like he was just what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's just had enough. It sounded like he's had enough of bad experiences with all types of people and all sorts of different situations. Um, so I guess the whole song is just kind of like a sad song, but I mean I still enjoyed it. I like sad music. Moving on to track number 8, "Lil Fade." I feel like this song is just built for. It was engineered specifically for playing in the car when you're just riding around with your friends. Um, I don't have a lot more to say about it. I felt like it was a pretty simple song, but I mean, it gets the job done. It's a bit of a banger, if you ask me. Great sampling, and I gotta give some kudos to the producers and the engineers. Um, they killed it. Moving on to track number 9, another one of those interlude tracks. This one sounded like a monologue from an interview. Someone describing how they killed someone and they are in the getaway car with 2 other people and they got pulled over by the police, and again adding more to that cinematic feel, almost like it's the theatrics of it is I mean not theatrics but rather kind of hearing the story told in different ways from different people adds a lot more to the album, the narrative of the album, and I appreciate a good story and a good kind of like an immersive experience when I'm listening to music. So I really appreciate both of those. I thought they were full-fledged songs, and then I realized they were like 30 seconds long. Um, so that moves us on into the last track on the album, entitled "Mm-hmm." It's not too hype of a song, and I really like the melody on this one. I don't know if others are gonna agree with me, but it's just Vince going "mm-hmm" on it, and uh, I don't know. It's pretty catchy. I really enjoyed that. And I think it wraps the album up in a way that reminds us that Vince has grown as an artist, but he's still the same guy. He's still the same kid that I I've I've been listening to for a long time. So uh, I I don't know. It's just a great song. And I think to wrap this review up, while this album is a pretty big departure from his older, more atonal and eccentric, and in my opinion, EDM infused production, and his loud and laid back vocal delivery that I'm familiar with. It's This album is a really big shift away from that, and it felt comfortable to me as a listener, and maybe to Vince Staples as the artist. And I honestly enjoyed it. I mean, I know in the past Vince Staples has said, I've watched interviews of his before, and he's stated before that it's bothered him in the past that people had such issue with his beat selection and the way he presents his music, the way he structures his choruses and the hooks on his songs. And I just hope that this album was something that he was genuinely proud of to make. It's certainly more radio friendly compared to his older releases. It's definitely more accessible to the average music listener. I've had many conversations in the past where people say, "Oh, I can't really get into Vince Staples. His music's too weird for me." And I feel like this is that one album that I could, recommend to someone who's never listened to him before, but they might want to get into him or are interested in listening to him. So honestly, I hope he gets, some new fans because of this release, and maybe his fan base is going to grow as this album marinates in, the present soundscape, not landscape. So honestly, longtime fan of Vicente de las Grapas. I'm happy with this project. I feel like Vince Staples took a more introspective direction with it, and I'm looking forward to a tour if one happens. So, all in all, this was a great album. Really happy with this one. As I said, short, brief, straight to the point, no type of filler, and he just killed it. I mean, I'm happy with it. So, if you've watched this far, thank you. I appreciate it. And if there's anything that you'd like for me to listen to, just hit me up. Let me know. Don't be shy. I'm always looking forward to listening to new music, stuff that I haven't heard before, or new artists, bands, whatever it may be, producers, whatever. So yeah, just let me know. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.